Very good afternoon, Colombia. A pleasure to greet you as always. The economic and social crises affect different countries, especially the unions in Uganda and Colombia that do not have a greater presence in the face of decision making and struggles for inequalities. Hand in hand with the fact that COVID-19 has brought refugees from other countries. For Uganda, the increase in refugees has reached 1.5 million people will come from South Sudan and the Republic of Congo, and for Colombia, 1.8 million Venezuelans have arrived in the country of coffee. For these two countries, the inflation has increased and a large percentage of these migrants live in poverty. The pandemic has made governments reduce the importance of unions, since they do not see it as relevant, but it is definitely necessary for the well-being of the natives and migrants of these countries. If the workers have excellent conditions, the employees will improve macroeconomically the industrialization of the country economically and politically organizationally. To focus more on unemployment, my colleague Diego Muñoz will show the impact of these two countries. We are with you, Diego.
Hello, Alejandro, to all tuning team. As we can know, Uganda and country is East Africa, which during the COVID had a significant increment, and where is a had increment of almost 40% compared to 2018, and Colombia and country also affect be it COVID range. The first quarter of 2020 had is increment of the 10 percent points. Currently, unemployment had dropped and to only 4 percentage points compared to before the pandemic. My parent Valeria will explain on the very topics.
Hello, my name is Valeria and I'm going to talk about businesses pay more than market wage. So, according to the American economists Carl Shapiro and Joseph Stiglitz, with their theory of efficiency wages, they argue that companies pay what they should be more than the market wage since there is always a core of unemployed workers. The efficiency wage theory states that the productivity of workers in the firm is positively correlated with the wage. If workers receive a relatively higher wage, they may be more loyal, industrious, and will work harder to keep their jobs. This situation arises due to market imperfections. The Colombian case is interesting since its institutions and labor market present particular characteristics that differentiate it from developed countries, such as the presence of high levels of informality affecting the dynamics of supply and demand of workers. The theory of efficiency wages would explain very well the behavior of the unemployment rate in Colombia, where the market equilibrium wage would be the legal minimum wage in force, which corresponds to 1 million. On the other hand, Uganda, being a very corrupt country, it is difficult to find formal employment. Its minimum wage, that has been the same since 2018, corresponds to 6,000 Ugandan shillings, occupying the 100th place in the ranking of interprofessional minimum wage, being among the countries with the lowest minimum wage of the 101 on the list. Therefore, it's not supported by this theory, since it presents poor working conditions. And now we will communicate with Vanessa, who will tell us that finding a job is like finding a partner.
Thanks, Valeria. Now I'm going to explain to the audience how finding a job is similar to finding a partner or even a house, and is that according to the classical view of the market, the buyers and the seller should find each other immediately, without cost and with perfect information. In a similar way, the workers and the employers should find a balance between the supply and the demand. Nevertheless, in the practice, it's not like that. And the problem is that there is not complete information. and each search costs money and time. The individuals have a limit of money and a budget. This budget can be translated as the minimum wage that the worker is willing to accept. And there is not one wage because of the variety of works and the workers' profiles. In Colombia, for example, there is an employment rate of 10%, and a significant part of the workers have a lower wage than they should be according to their experience and their level of education. On the other hand, the overall participation rate of Uganda is lower than Colombia's. That explains why they have a lower unemployment rate. Now, my partner, Johan Torres, will explain about how GDP ignores women.
Hello, my name is Johan and I'm gonna talk about GDP ignores women. GDP provides a measure of economic activities within a country during a year and is related to factors such as income or unemployment. So this is subject to problems. The GDP measurement collects data factors related to economic transactions. Everything bought and sold in a year must be registered by the GDP. However, everything that is bought and sold in a nation does not equal as economic activity. GDP excludes non-commercial activity such as housework and childcare, even if they have value. These activities are usually done by women. Therefore, GDP ignores women. Domestic work and home care in Colombia is 20% of GDP. That is more than $51 million. Women represent 77% of this production. This shows that the importance of unpaid work for the country's economy. For example, commercial activities contribute only 17.5% of GDP in Colombia. By comparison, Uganda has a gender gap of 71.7%. With this percentage, Uganda ranks 65 in the gender of RAP ranking. The gender gap index analyzes the division of resources and opportunities between men and women in 153 countries. This shows that women can practically only do domestic work, which is not counted in her GDP and does not give it value it deserves. Continuing, Sebastian is going to talk about unemployment is not a choice.
Hello, my name is Sebastian, and I'm gonna talk about the unemployment is not an option. The DAN presented the result of the labor market for February 2022. The DAN reported that the unemployment rate in the second month of the year was 12.9%, a reduction of the 2.6 points compared to the unemployment rate of February 2021. In the 13 main cities of the country, the unemployment rate was 12.7%, a reduction more pronounced with respect to 2021, when the figure was 18.1%. So, on the other hand, half of Uganda population is under 15 years of age, putting pressure on the provision of social service and resulting in unemployment. However, Uganda has an unemployment rate of 2.8% by the year 2020. Thank you.